So the other day, I opened up Google and saw reports that internal discussions have taken place regarding a Golden State Warriors Damian Lillard trade. And the first thing I thought of was, what the heck is an internal discussion? Is it something that looks like this? Anyway, because Damian Lillard is a certified superstar, I decided to take a look at the ins and outs of this trade, and I'll give you a certified and constructive answer at the end of this video. First off, I'll go over the exact trade scenario. Then I'll go over the pros and cons of this blockbuster trade. The trade package is as follows. The Portland Trail Blazers would receive Andrew Wiggins, James Wiseman, and the Warriors' 7th and 14th picks in the 2021 NBA Draft. The Golden State Warriors, on the other hand, would receive Damian Lillard. Now, do you want the good or the bad first? I actually prefer to hear the bad stuff first, so I can end things off on a high note. So without further ado, here are the 3 cons of this trade. Con number 1. The Warriors would be too small and have a defensive issue when the playoffs arrive. During the regular season, I'm sure this won't be much of an issue, but once the playoffs arrive, it's a whole nother story. And because we're focused on winning a championship and not in having the best regular season record, I'm going to gear this talk for the playoffs only. Damian Lillard and Steph Curry are 6'2" and 6'3" respectively. The average height in the NBA is 6'6", 6'7" depending on the year. And although these two are tough players, when you're matched up with someone that has about 4 inches of height and an extra 20 or 30 pounds over you, it makes things tough on the defensive end. I mean, look at Drew Holiday and what he's doing to Chris Paul in the NBA Finals.
Holiday has been in command all night long. Trying to draw the foul. Paul knocks it away. Holiday gets it back.
Again, in the regular season, you'll probably be fine and get away with the size differential. But when you're up against the top 5 teams in the playoffs, over a 7-game series, you can be sure they'll do all the switches necessary to capitalize in this category. Looking at the West, the Lakers have LeBron as their point guard. Can you imagine LeBron switching onto either Steph Curry or Damian Lillard consistently? LeBron would be able to pick him apart, just like in the 2021 Finals when he went up against the Trail Blazers.
Shot clock to 7. He's got Damian Lillard on him. They clear it out. Help comes from Melo. Wide open Caruso.
In the East, the starting shooting guards of the top 2 teams are the Bucks with Middleton and the Nets with James Harden. They both stand 6'7" and 6'5" respectively. Middleton can easily shoot over the top. And the thing with James Harden is, unless you're an elite defender, man, he's going to put you in a blender.
Lillard, but he gets it to drop. 6 on the shot clock. Harden on the move to the right.
Again, in the regular season, the Warriors might be fine, but once they reach the playoffs against elite teams, they'll be at a size disadvantage, which, over the course of a 7-game series, this size mismatch will be exploited. And that's pretty much what we've seen with the Trailblazers for the past half-decade with Lillard and CJ McCollum. Great regular season team, but in the playoffs, they usually get swept, or gentlemen swept. But either way, they fall short. Let's move on to the next point here. Damian Lillard's fit with Steve Kerr's small ball system. As great as a player is, the system he's put in also affects his output. In Portland, Dame runs the show, and the offense runs through him. And he's been used to that play style for his whole career. If he went to the Warriors, I'm not saying that he wouldn't be effective, but I'd be a little uncertain to what extent he'd be effective. I mean, look at D'Angelo Russell, for example. He played subpar with how he was utilized with the Lakers, but then, in his first year in Brooklyn, he became an all-star. Now, I'm in no way comparing these 2 players, but I'm just highlighting the fact that the Warriors might not get the Portland Trail Blazer Lillard because of how Steve Kerr runs the Warriors offense. And speaking of the Warriors offense, this leads to my next point. Con number 3. The Warriors would have to give up so much on offense and defense, and they'd have to mortgage their future. Andrew Wiggins, James Wiseman, and the 7th and 14th overall pick? Man. First off, Wiggins really fits in with the Warriors system as a slasher and a defender. He's capable of backdoor cuts that end in a dunk. He can shoot the 3-ball well, and he can lock up the opposing team's best scorer.
That cut.
Ignoring total production, let's look at their efficiency this past season and ignore points, assists, and rebounds. From the field, Lillard scored at 41.5%, whereas Wiggins scored at 47.7%. From the 3-point line, Lillard scored at 39.1%, whereas Wiggins scored at 38%. From the free throw line, Lillard scored at 92.8%, whereas Wiggins scored at 71.4%. Lillard is a better overall player than Wiggins, but in Kerr's system, can you say for certain that he'd be better? If we factor in Wiggins' defensive abilities, it'd be a tough judgment call. In addition, Steve Kerr really believes James Wiseman's capable of being everything DeAndre Ayton is, plus more. Just look at what DeAndre Ayton's doing in the 2021 playoffs, and you'll see what the Warriors will be giving up if they package James Wiseman in a trade. Along with the 7th and 14th pick, the Warriors' future will be looking very bleak if this Damian Lillard trade goes through. Alright, that's it for the cons. Let's look at some of the pros, because trust me, there are definitely some big pros with a Lillard trade. Damian Lillard is a certified, bona fide superstar. The man probably has a superstar degree hanging off some wall in his house. Steph Curry is the best point guard in the NBA. But if Steph Curry was 1A, Damian Lillard would be 1B.
Telling him to get out of his way. Lillard on a three. And he hits.
Let me illustrate how good Lillard actually is. I'm sure we all remember Kevin Durant's Game 5 performance against the Bucks in the playoffs, right? 49 points, 17 rebounds, 10 assists on a total of 23 shots? Well, according to the game score statistics, which is a collection of a lot of stats combined together, Kevin Durant now has the 3rd best playoff game registered in NBA history. Charles Barkley, a former league MVP and now TNT analyst, holds the number 2 spot. And guess who has the best single-game playoff performance in NBA history? That's right, Damian Lillard. Man, this game somehow silently went by this year. But Lillard recorded 55 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds on 24 shots taken. If Damian Lillard joined the Warriors, he could legitimately take the name of the 3rd Splash Bro if he wanted to. And this leads directly to my next point, pro number 2. The offense of this team would be off the hook. A combination of Steph and Lillard is one of the deadliest combinations ever, especially with Draymond Green's ability to set screens. With the way the Warriors set screens and create mismatches, the amount of clean looks the Warriors will be getting is way off the hook. As a fan, I'd love to watch this, which is why I was so bummed out when Steph decided to skip this year's Olympics. Man, Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, and Klay Thompson? This past year, defense wasn't an issue, as the Warriors ranked number 5 across the league. Offense, on the other hand, was a huge problem when Steph wasn't on the court. Let me illustrate this point for you. According to StatMuse, this past 2020-2021 season, when Steph was on the court, the Warriors statistically had the 13th best offense in the league. But when he was off the court, the Warriors had the worst offense of any, that's right, any teams in the last 5 seasons. Something tells me that if Damian Lillard joins the Dubs, and if Klay comes back healthy, the Warriors will have one of the best offenses the league has seen in the last 5 seasons, and possibly one of the best offenses ever, especially with the combination of my next point. Pro number 3, the ring-chasing domino effect. There's a high chance of a domino effect if Lillard joins the Warriors. What I mean by that is, every ring chaser will probably want in on this action. There are rumors that Kevin Love might get his contract bought out by the Cavaliers. Blake Griffin, on the other hand, is an unrestricted free agent after his ring-chasing season in Brooklyn. And Rudy Gay is going to become a free agent as well. And as he turns 35 next season, chances are he'll probably want to be on a team that can win a championship. And what better team is there to join than one that has a starting 5 consisting of Curry, Lillard, Thompson, and Draymond? If the Warriors could lure 2 of these players in on minimum contracts by acquiring Lillard, then that's a decent gamble. So to trade or not to trade? That is the question. More discussions will definitely have to be made. Even a verbal agreement that they'd come over if this trade went through, then it could be worth a shot. This trade would be highly contingent on this factor, and we'll see if Bob Myers can pull this off or not. Another player the Warriors could perhaps re-sign on a minimum contract is former Warriors star Monte Ellis. But where the heck is Monte Ellis these days? Do you know where he is? Because I have absolutely no clue. Actually, guys, I just lied, because I do know where he is. I did some research, and I figured out where he is, and I show you in this video here. It's a big video, guys, and I'm pretty sure it'll be worth your time to watch it. So click it, guys, watch it, and I'll see you on the other side.